I'm going to start here. Angel Reese wants credit. She's not getting enough credit. She did this too. She taunted Caitlin Clark. She made this whole thing. The reason why WNBA is up is because of Angel Reese. Is Angel Reese getting enough credit, Steve?
You know, I saw where she said yesterday, the lovely Angel Reese said, well, it's not just one person. I had something to do with it too. You know, it reminds me of this certain date that'll live in the hearts of many Lakers fans to the day we die. January 22nd, 2006, Jason. That date may not mean much to you, but us people in LA will always remember that Sunday night as the game that Kobe Bean Bryant exploded against the Toronto Raptors. Okay? And it would almost be like on that particular night, in retrospect, if Sasha Vujacic would have a press conference and say, you know what, that was a great comeback. Me and Kobe combined for 84 points that game. Yeah, we led that comeback because Kobe and I, without our 84, we probably don't win. Now, never mind that it was Bean with 81 and Vujacic was only 3. So again, it's factual, but there has to be some context layered within those facts.
Yeah, I agree with you. I went from liking Angel Reese a little bit to now I don't like Angel Reese. I'm back to like she's just bad news, and you know she's fallen right in line with the rest of the WNBA. She's just an angry feminist, and you know they may get her all the way on board. She may marry Brittany Griner at some point. Who knows? But I find Angel Reese completely unlikable, and I'm telling you, I was at about 20%. Like, hey, I kind of like Angel Reese, and I moved past the taunting thing, but now I haven't.
Jason, I saw a graphic on Twitter, and again, I don't take everything on Twitter as gospel, but someone showed her stat line, and isn't she shooting like 35% from the field? Now, look, I don't think much of the WNBA skill level. I really don't. I still think it's largely unwatchable. Can somebody tell me who in the world watches a 35% shooter from the paint that is basically grabbing her own rebounds from her own missed shots? This whole notion that somehow Angel Reese is driving ticket sales, you know, she might to a certain degree. But I saw another statistic that was put up in terms of the attendance throughout the weekend of every other game that did not have a certain quote unquote white beat from Iowa compared to every other game. There's a stark difference. And so, again, is there a league? Yes. Are there other players involved? Yes. But we have to be completely honest about this, whether we like it or not. 90% of this revived or renewed interest is really based around one singular player.
It's certainly based around one singular player. And I get it. I can't believe they're speaking this stuff out loud, but I think they're speaking the stuff out loud. There's no accountability for black female feminists. They can say anything, and if you criticize it, you're racist. Period. End of story.
Yeah. Jason, what's interesting is from the mainstream media, there is none. There's no doubt about it. Now, I want to make this point. The whole industry of the WNBA, which count as the players, the coaches, the media members, the journalists, the broadcasters, and certain observers / superfans, they truly are the most unlikable lot of any sport by far. I could see why they repel people from peeking inside the curtain and being fans. I'm being dead serious. It goes far beyond just Monica McNutt, and we can get into that later. But I will say this, though, Jason. On YouTube, there are many people that are doing some great videos, calling it out honestly, just the way you'd want to. Shout out to Melanie King. Miss King, shout out to you, my fine queen. You are calling it the way it is. She's done some great videos on it recently. I sent you one. Jada Black's done a great job. Of course, Ock Nation. He's been doing daily rants about this. Very, very good stuff. Chaotic Truth, guys of that nature. And also Brandon Tatum, I thought, did a great video. So the coverage is out there, Jason. It's just not in the corporate mainstream media.
Steve, I want to share with you, I think, didn't Kennedy Carter put out some statement maybe through the WNBA? I thought it's not an apology, but I want to read her tweet or something. I think it's a tweet she had, and just get your reaction to Kennedy Carter. I don't really. It's not surprising what she did, given her reputation. It's right on brand for her. She's basically Dylan Brooks or Draymond Green, typical WNBA player, rougher than, and she's been booted off or released by a couple of different teams. But here's her tweet, and this is the problem with the WNBA. I just don't want to see this. I don't want to support people who talk this way, think this way, particularly when they're women. We grown as F, and y'all talking about enforcer. Man, get the F out of here. Hoop or shut up. It's Steve. I just don't want to see. I don't want to support women who talk and think this way. Call me sexist, but I guess that I am.
Old Chenedy. Yeah, I said Chenedy. She didn't want to answer the question, though, at the press conference, but she puts that out. I'm going to say something that's going to surprise you, though. I think next year, the Indiana Fever, they need to get their version of Chenedy. They need someone that's going to be the Charles Oakley to the Jordan that is Caitlin Clark. It's done in other sports. It's been done in basketball. I think the Indiana Fever have a very, very interesting offseason ahead of them because they have to gauge the temperature of what is going on and how valuable Caitlin Clark is. And then I would get a whole new coaching staff and a system that fits one player, Caitlin Clark, and then everyone else. You better be able to protect her and to complement her game. And if you're not willing to do that, you're out of here. But yeah, I'll say it. They need to get a couple of Chenedy Clarks, Carters in that room because, quite frankly, I'm going to say this to Jason. I think that the non-protection or the behavior of her teammates, Jason, has actually been worse than the opponents. I expect opponents to act like that, but you are really seeing the pettiness and the jealousy of females. And what's that old line? Females are more jealous and petty with each other in the workplace or socially than any men. I think that is being borne out with the way the Indiana Fever are treating their most precious, valuable commodity.
No one has her back, and here's how I know here's what my suspicion is. The reason why the Chicago Sky got rough with her is because, and why the rest of the league is getting rough with her, and why there was no reaction. Aaliyah Boston just walked over like nothing had happened and helped Caitlin Clark up. Yeah. She didn't even look at the person that hit her. And again, I'm not accusing Aaliyah Boston of this, but there are at least 1 or 2 or 3 players on that Indiana Fever team who's communicating with other players around the league and putting the word out. They're like, yeah, we need to rough this chick up.